So I don't know if you remember this particular guy. Case of Rittenhouse. He was the young guy that went to a Black Lives Matter protest and shot up 2 people, killed 2 people, and wounded another person. Last week, Mr. Rittenhouse skipped bails or skipped his court date. He was let out on bond, and he's missed his court date to show up to court. He didn't show up. And so, but luckily they found him. They were shocked to find, and he was staying in Illinois. He missed his court date, but they found him in Illinois, the state of Illinois, living at an old apartment. Remember, this guy was let out on bail for shooting two protesters. This guy. They just found him. He wasn't shot in the street like other Black people or anything, or other poor folks. He was released on bail, and he skipped bail. Now I want you to show, last thing I'm going to show you before we start to discuss, is this particular gentleman right here. I don't know if y'all can see it, but breaks my heart. A Black sheriff deputy in Louisiana condemned police brutality and institutionalized racism. Then he died by suicide. So as we talk about passiveness and anger, and we really start to discuss it, imagine for a minute if this police officer was living in a world without racism and discrimination. Think about that. And at the same time, you have a young guy that shot up 2 protesters at a Black Lives Matter protest, shot him dead, and went on, was released on probation, and then show up to court. So now let's talk. Let's get into it. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about how society has allowed racism to be good. This is not new. It happened today, it happened yesterday, it's going to happen tomorrow. And until we really come to grips with this and say enough is enough, we're done with it. We're done with the lies, the no progress, and all the things that keeps us the way we are, that keeps us going insane with this lip service. It's going to happen 5 years from now. And sadly, I'm saying this, that officer, it almost, as a former veteran, I can't even imagine what was going through his mind. I can't. I could sympathize with it, but I can't. I mean, being a Black male myself, dealing with race and racism and discrimination, you know, you try to do right, you try to do something, you try to go get a good job, and everyone is judging you constantly. So what are your thoughts?
Well, I'd like to speak on something. Are you for sure that he committed suicide? Is that a fact, or is that just what they said?
I'm going by what they said. I wasn't there, so I have to go by what they said.
I understand. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Okay.
Because because he had too much going for him, and he just wanted to speak the truth. And anybody speaking the truth will set you free. It's not going to kill you to make you want to kill yourself unless you're just a weakling. It's obvious he wasn't no weakling. Now, to get past that, traditional. you know, things been going on so long that people just accept what it is. Now, and me and you had this conversation. Our people has been against each other so long, they don't care about the racism going on in the world. It's about my turf, it's about what I do, and it's about don't get in my business, don't cross my turf. You wear red, I wear blue. You wear green, he wear yellow. And if you come on this side of the tracks, you's a dead man. Don't matter who you are. The mothers is trying to raise the children by themselves. The daddies is in the penitentiary, and some of the mamas is on dope. They don't have nothing but the streets to adopt to, and that's who they run to. So the racism is not even a thought of theirs because it's a mindset. Well, it's been going on for years. I hear that all the time. It ain't gonna change. Yet you're definitely right, because you're not an example of changing anything. That's where change and transformation come in. And so the passiveness is like, hey man, I just want to do my thing, stay out the way. Hey man, and whatever happened, as long as it don't affect me and mine, it don't matter. The anger is with people like myself doing 40 years in prison. It's like, hey man, this got to stop, and it got to stop now, because the lip service is nothing. It's about action. It's about action. But I don't care who it is, rappers, stars, or whatever, they good with lip service, but when the action come in, it's only for a moment, if we understand that. With George Floyd, it was only for a moment. I don't care if it lasted for a month. This got to last forever to make a change. It's not about violence. It's not about any, it's a mindset. Because see, the process of thinking is, man, that's a deep conversation right there. Because unless you're hands-on and it's a daily conversation and not a monthly conversation or 2 months, because you can have this today, this right here on this Zoom, but it don't come back. It don't come back to us for another 3 months. What difference does it make? Unless the people here is in action, like you are now. And that's the whole key.
Well, you know, Mr. Rudy, mind if I call you Rudy?
Yeah, please,
Okay,
sir. Yeah.
So you said something that really touched me deeply. I'm gonna explain this, and I'm explaining it as best as I can. You said that it's going to take action. Okay. Being a part of organizations, being part of the NAACP, being part of veterans organizations, and I know you're all part of organizations as well. You know, you got your own business. You know, you're doing your thing out there in California. Where's the action? I try to get action. I go to people. I say, hey, here's my organization, right? Here's what we do. Support us. Okay. You go to the next person. Here's what we do. This is what we have. We have a plan. You have a team. We can make this happen. We will watch through a Super Bowl through halftime and watch, like you said, people who have clout, which you can't fault them, right? You can't. And we'll go on and say, we need to end racism. We need to come together. Here's an organization where in the name of the organization, it says end racism forever. Support where? We believe that in order to end racism, we do these things. We identify it, we go in, we say, hey, we could come in, we could teach you. We're not out protesting. We can, but we figured we could go a different approach with this. There's a whole approach we have. We could go to this. We could show up. We're fast enough. We could show up. But of course, like every other organization, we need support, right? But this another thing you said, again, it touched me deeply, is because back to the earlier conversation, you said, I'm red, you're blue. So you worry about you, let me worry about me, right? For years, I've noticed this here. I'm not talking about anywhere else in the world, just here in America. When it comes to unifying, we look more to people to lead than unifying amongst ourselves.
Mhm.
Because for some reason, I don't know what that trigger is in our brain, we think it's harder to unify where we are and much easier to look to a person to the top and say, lead us somewhere.
Mhm.
Am I making sense?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very much so. Yes.
So I can't, I'm, you know, when we go into board meetings and we discuss, because all we keep hearing is, we like the idea, we got to get it going, boom, we got what, you know, and I'm like, okay, here's what we need. We need, you know, community rally. We need to let the community leaders know we're here. We want to reach out. We want to network, boom. And for some reason, that's a disconnect because everybody have their own agenda.
Right.
Remember, red and blue, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, if you want to follow up, let me know if I'm wrong.
Okay, no, you're totally correct. But what's the most powerful thing in the earth? Cash dollars, cash money. That's the most powerful thing on the earth. Not God, not a brother, not a sister, I'm not speaking on no ethnics. I'm talking about in general, none of that. But if I can get mine over here, hey man, what you talking about means nothing to me. You understand? So I think you got to do 3 things to get to 2 to make 1 happen. That's just me. We got to eliminate the negative, establish the facts, and choose our best options. That way, we get to our primaries and our secondaries to get to the number 1 goal, success, which is unity.
Oh, you went on mute.
Oh, okay, excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah, I hit this, man, I'm illiterate when it comes to this.
You're the only one, trust me.
Yeah. So when they see that it takes, cause see, it don't take nothing to be nothing, but it takes an effort to be somebody. But now you can go out there and buff all the iron you want, get big as you want as a house. But if you don't exercise the main thing, that heart and that brain, it don't matter because it's not going to grow. And if you don't grow, you can't have nobody on the team like that. Now, what we would like to do is go out there and say, hey, look here, let's come together as a unity, and make these things happen. But now me and you talked about the change and the transformation.
Yes.
Well, okay, I'm going to make a change. But if I don't like it, I can go back doing what I was doing. Yes. Now, see, transformation kills all of that because transformation is, what is transformation? Old things have passed away, behold, all things have become new. I refuse to go back to my past. And I got a saying that says this: you cannot fall in love with your future if you're still having an affair with your past. I mean, that's just me.
Yeah.
You know, that's just me. And I truly believe that. And so I have to, every given course of the day that expire, I got to widen my horizon, spread my knowledge, so my ultimate thoughts will come to me to understand exactly what you're saying. But see, to get to a process like that in my mind, I have to have that peace first, and I have to have that discipline. Kill that, because people do not like discipline, and we know that. See, I speak on the first person I, and I learned how to take discipline and accept discipline. But if you're trying to discipline a person, see, it's always about excuses. Hey man, you can't tell me what to do. You understand? Well, sir, I never had that intention. You understand? But that's a cop-out. It's a cop-out. And as long as I can justify the negative instead of bringing actions in on the positive, it's more easier for me. It's more easier for me because I don't want to put in the work.
So, and thank you for that. I mean, I needed to be heard, and I appreciate that. And so I'm gonna tie it in with passiveness and anger. Last week in our last discussion, I had a guest speaker on, and she said, you can't get angry. You can do the work, don't get angry. And so that's why I brought this topic up today. It's like, we live, our mindset, our mental capacity, especially during this pandemic, has really give us a lot of eye-opening self-reflection, stuff to deal with. I mean, over in Europe, they're dealing with record now, I don't know, last time I checked, it was 16% of alcohol deaths, right? Here in America is, I think it was suicide, but I don't know the number, but I think it was suicide and drugs.
Yes, yes, yes.